podcaster, pro podcaster, what's happening? Right, so everybody, this is the first time ever that I've had a guest on my channel as well, which is exciting, but this is Katie. Katie, do you want to give your elevator pitch? I swear I'm not stealing that from anime.
It's okay. I think lots of people use elevator pitch, so we're good. My name's Katie Bunny. I am a Twitch streamer. I also have Minecraft videos up on YouTube. And yeah, I stream 2 to 3 times a week. So yeah, pretty chill streams. I get actually rated by a lot of horror streamers after they're done their games
Mm-hmm.
because it's so chill. So if you're looking to come hang out, do some chill vibes, it's basically just chatting with Minecraft in the background.
Definitely, and we need to
Mhm.
work on something where we do like Minecraft horror maps or something soon. Katie's
Yes.
gonna teach me how to do Minecraft. But I thank you for coming on. I'm excited for this one. This is gonna be an
Me
interesting
too.
one. Because I'd heard of this one like months ago. No, actually, sorry, like 2 or 3 years ago. But I hadn't heard anything until recently. A TikTok went up where about her body being found, and I was
Hmm.
like, I have to talk about this one. Like this is a must for the first episode.
Yeah,
So,
no, I'd also probably seen the exact same TikTok as you,
mhm.
and I saw it and I'm like, okay, that's interesting, and just kind of kept on going on.
There's so much with this one. Like I have some videos, and I'm like, there's some videos I'm not gonna play, um, but I have a load that I am gonna play, and it's insane. Like I didn't actually know the cult was that bad.
Right? When I first saw
Mm-hmm.
the TikTok, I thought this was a whole uproar about how they found the body, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where my initial stance was going to be. That's why I told you I've changed my opinion
Yeah, yeah.
because initially I was going to be like, let people believe what they want to believe, but now I'm like, holy crap, this was like a legit terrifying cult.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's so much on the internet. Like I think they go by 5D dimension now.
Oh,
They
did they change it
changed.
again?
So they used to be something else, right? Let me open this. Why do I have it here?
They were
The
something Ascension, I
Wasn't it
think.
the Galactic?
Yeah,
Here's my
the Galactic.
pronunciation. Federation of Light, and then the Church Ministry of Mother of All Creation, and then
Yes.
she came along and they changed it to Love Has Won, and then after her death, all social media went down. It's now back up under 5D disclosure.
Okay, I didn't know that part.
Amy Carlson, right? I genuinely thought that she was the founder of this. She wasn't.
No,
That
she took over.
boggled me. Like, right? Like, she genuinely joined in, when was that? 2006? When
Sounds
was
about right,
that?
yeah.
So she had just turned 30, right? She was on her third marriage, and she just dropped all her kids, everything, and went and joined these, was recruited by them, and then all of a sudden took over as the leader.
Hmm.
That's insane. The fact that she didn't even. How does it even happen?
I don't even know. Like, how do you go from being the manager at a McDonald's to a cult leader?
Literally. But the thing is, right, it's
Yeah.
not to say, like, her whole family, like in all of the interviews, her whole family are so against this. Her son's spoken out about it. Her eldest son has spoke about it. Her three sisters, her mother, everything, they're all like, no, she's mentally ill. But there's a twist of her knowing what she's doing at the same time to scam people. But
Hmm.
she literally, I think there's a wee bit of like postpartum to it, because it was after she had her third child. Apparently she just couldn't, like, stop showing love to the kids, stopped
Hmm.
being, she was never really motherly anyway, according to her mom. But it was then she just kind of dropped, the minute she turned 30, dropped everything and left for this cult.
Yeah. It definitely could be postpartum. I was gonna say
Mm-hmm.
mortem. Postpartum. Oh, I can't speak either. But yeah, no, it could be the postpartum depression, especially if it was right
Mm-hmm.
after her kid. Hmm.
That's what I was kind of thinking, because it was literally just after she had the third. And then Carrie said, you have to know your mind to be able to lead a cult, I think. I
I
am not.
I think there's two types of cult leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Those that do it deliberately and those that stumble upon it. Yeah,
Crazy.
there are definitely cult leaders where you go, "Holy crap, you were just absolutely mentally unstable and people just believed you."
Mm-hmm.
You know?
This is true.
And then there's ones that you go, "You're manipulative."
See, I don't know, right? Because watching, so she had like she kept having like lovers and stuff, right? Which were
Mm,
known as like the father gods, right?
yeah.
And there was one that spoke out. Now he was with them for 10 months, and he was literally her babysitter. Everybody waited on her hand and foot. People gave up six-figure jobs, donated all of it to her. Like, I think she knew what she was playing at the same time. But there was definitely, after watching her interviews, and I'm gonna play chat some clips so you can know what we're on about. But watching back some of her videos, like 100%, they're, well, I can't say 100%, but from my opinion, there's a bit of mental illness there. Do you know what I mean? There has to be something because she just didn't seem. If you're in a funny place in life, a cult is very inviting. This is very true, Sunday, because a lot of them who've left the cult now, because even though she's dead, the cult is still going on. By the way, folks. Hi Reese, by the way. But a lot of them who've left, who've now spoke out, they like I think one of the one that was her lover for 10 months, he was in a near life ending accident, and after that went on a spiritual retreat and ended up meeting this cult.
Well, and her herself, the cult at least claimed that she had some kind of cancer. So that
That
could
was
be
towards the
another
end.
reason why she, yeah, whether it was
I
true or not. Yeah.
I think there was, because towards the end, I'll get to it in more detail later, but towards the end they had a certain type of cure for COVID-19. And
Yeah.
I think it was a mixture of that and other stuff that she did that led to her getting this. If it was cancer, I don't know if it was 100% cancer, but she did lose like the loss of her legs and stuff and was paralyzed from the waist down towards the end of her life
Mhm.
anyway. I kebab, it's still going, but I think it's separated. So the YouTube, they had a podcast as last week. So from the time we're recording now, I checked their YouTube 5D Dimension. They had a live stream last week. That's
Hmm.
insane, isn't it? That they're still
Yeah.
going. And then there's a couple of break off cults as well that were former members.
Wow.
Insanity, like, on
Yeah. I
Twitch.
didn't know about because of the name change that I didn't know about. I didn't actually find all of that, but I
Mm-hmm.
know that they did make several videos after she died
Yeah.
on
Um,
the original name.
and wasn't it they were all celebrating it?
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
saying that she
mad.
had ascended. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Aye. So because they originally went by the Galactic Federation of Light, and then when she joined, they all started calling her then Mother God. So how do I even say this about her? Right. So she apparently has been alive for 19 billion years. Right. She's ascended, what was it, 534 times?
Yep.
She apparently has been Jesus, Marilyn Monroe, Cleopatra, um, Joan of Arc. That was another one. And apparently in this life, Donald Trump was her father.
No, so that was confusing. I saw a couple places
Mm-hmm.
on their website, I believe. They said that back when, so part of the religion was that they believed that they came from some kind of Lemurian, I think it might have been.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the belief was that a group of aliens or humans lived in a volcano or crawled out of the earth in a volcano in Hawaii, which is why they went to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, Donald Trump was the king and she was the princess of this group. And that was when he was her father, not in this life.
Stop it! What? I couldn't see that
That was,
anywhere.
yeah, no, that was on their website, I believe.
Oh
And
my
it was
god.
mentioned in two different news articles.
See, I was getting all the UK and British news articles about it. So I had to keep digging deep to get the American news articles. But apparently wasn't it they caused a riot in Hawaii, Hawaii,
Hawaii.
Hawaii. Um,
They did.
so because they kept moving around, so they started in 2006, right? And they'd moved
Mhm.
around. They were like in Oregon, Colorado
Colorado?
first, wasn't it? California,
Mhm.
Florida. But they settled then in Moffat in Colorado. But it was only in 2020 actually. This time last year, August, she went to Hawaii, but she turned around and said that she was the goddess Pele. I hope I pronounced that right. And
I
everybody
think it's
caused
I think it's Pele,
Pele, is
but I
it?
could be wrong too. Yeah.
Um, she literally went in and was like, "This is me," and they were just like, "No, we're not having it." And there was riots. Literally, riots happened to get them kicked out. Protests, the whole lot to get them kicked out. That's insanity. I see no news coverage on that whatsoever.
So I saw some of the news. Apparently the news didn't really take off outside of Hawaii. Um, but so fun fact on that one, the goddess Pele is actually the goddess of fire in their religion,
Mm-hmm.
and they were actually setting fire like campfires around the perimeter of the building they were staying in. And
Right.
when the cops came and asked who started the fires, they said Pele because she was
That's
claiming to be this goddess, right? And oh, it was I saw that I'm like that's perfect. Like that's the way to do it.
like even Carrie saying there. I can't imagine having that much faith and belief in something.
Hmm.
I know,
Well,
like.
and the other thing, so I'm pagan, and I've done a lot of research into several different religions, and kind of a general consensus on reincarnation is that there's no reason to claim who you were. Like, there's no reason to remember who you were. And so that's always a red flag for me is whenever somebody goes, I was this historical person, I was
Yeah.
this historical person.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's always a red flag going, were you? Or are
But
you just saying that for clout?
this is the thing, right? So a lot of ex members came forward and gave out about her being alcoholic. She became very abusive when she was drinking, and she had a member who's still very active and very outspoken, Aurora,
Hmm.
who is probably the main figure that we'll see in a lot of the videos. But she came out and basically said that she had ascended to a higher level of consciousness, so she was allowed to be abusive. And she's known her whole entire life. But her family said she was completely normal until she had that last kid, until she turned 30. And then all of a sudden she started calling herself mother God and everything. But how can you claim to be so awoken your entire life, yet only completely change personality when you're 30?
Right. Well, and the other
Do you know what
fun
I mean?
thing there is that she put out a decree that none of her followers could actually use alcohol or drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And yet
Mm-hmm.
here she is using alcohol and drugs.
And this is the thing as well, right? Aurora again spoke out and said that she kicks out people. I have the videos and everything here, right? That she's kicked
Hmm.
people out of the group for being on drugs. But I have a video of them on a mushroom trip. And when the fella, I need to get his name now in a second, but the fella who was her partner for 10 months, when he came out and
Hmm.
spoke about the group, he said his first ever introduction to the group is when he got out of the taxi. He walked in and they'd obviously been on a mushroom trip all night and not one of them have slept. And he even said that. And there's a video proof of it.
Wow.
And they're still like,
I,
nope, 100% we're so against it.
yeah, I actually saw a video of her taking a bong rip. So,
Yep, I seen that as well. And there's numerous videos as well, her smoking joints. But she's
hmm,
against it. But apparently Aurora said that alcohol is fine because it's natural. Because
yeah,
Mother of God was against pharmaceuticals, but she needed like morphine, so that's why she drank alcohol.
yeah, it was a natural painkiller.
That's mental. That is mental.
Yeah,
Like,
I actually saw. So I follow a YouTube channel called Ask a Mortician, and so she goes
mm-hmm,
into
mm-hmm.
these cases, and she actually made a joke saying, "Oh yeah, is it organic?" because how is that natural?
But like, this is the thing. Like, I don't know, religion and stuff. You said you had like opinions on religion after this.
So initially the stance I was going to take was going to be like, okay, let people believe what they want to believe. It's fine, right? Because we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about um there's 7 members that were at the house were being charged with tampering with a corpse and mistreating a corpse,
And
as
child
well as child
abuse.
abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which the child abuse, I didn't see enough about the case to make that
I've seen a
decision.
couple of clips, and
Mm.
when so basically how her body got discovered was the father. So there was a 2 year old and a 7 year old in the house when police knocked. But the only reason the body got reported is because the father of the 2 year old didn't know the body was there when they moved in, right? And once he walked into a makeshift shrine basically. So anybody in chat, her body was found with her eyeballs scooped out, her body in a sleeping bag wrapped around in fairy lights and glitter in her eye sockets and full face makeup, with her body like decayed, where her skin around her lips were all shriveled that you could see her teeth and everything. So he basically walked in on this and said, "Nope, I'm out of here. I'm gone." Tried to take his kid. They wouldn't let him take his kid. They held the kid hostage. So that's why he went to the police. But there's videos as well that I don't want to play because they're quite upsetting, where basically a kid is throwing a temper tantrum, as kids do. They can't regulate their emotions, they don't know what's going on. And they locked a kid in a, like, this kid was no older than like 4 years of age. They locked the kid in a closet, pitch darkness in a
Hmm.
closet. And then she took the kid back and was like, "Are you gonna behave?" And was quite nasty. The kid started crying. She went, "No, take it away from me," and all. And that was what we caught on camera. So God knows what went on behind the doors, like.
Yeah. No, Carrie's right. They were trying to mummify her. That's what they said.
Mhm.
And so that's where I was taking the stance of we can't judge what they want to do with the body,
Mhm.
because if that's their religion, if they believe that their living deity needs to be mummified in
Yeah.
that way, sure, it's not your, typical mummification, but they're allowed to have their religious beliefs. So my stance is absolutely whatever. They can do what they want with the corpse. I think she would probably have been okay
Aye.
knowing that that happened to her. So that I'm like, I don't care about, right? I don't think that that's something that they should be dipping their toes into.
Mhm.
And so when I first heard about it, I heard about the fact that everybody was shocked at the way her body was found. And I'm like, people across the globe still mummify their family members, their
This
religious
is true.
leaders.
Mhm.
So how are we to judge in I mean, I know it's not common in America, but how are you to judge in America that it's not okay if it's
Mhm.
happening across the globe, you know?
Aye.
So that was my stance there.
This is true. Like, aye, because like everybody knew she was on death's door, basically. Because basically, so everyone came out about this group, right? So there was quite a few people who joined. I think they had, with her at all times, there was an active 20 members. Then they had 26 to 28 worldwide ambassadors. These 20 people that live with her would do live streams. So if you go on YouTube, every single video is still there. It's still up, right? So they did live streams on YouTube every day, multiple times a day actually, because there's like, I was going for a good bit because I was trying to find maybe their first couple of videos so I could play that for everybody. But I was going for ages and ages and ages, and it was still like 2 months ago. And I was like, how many live streams do these put up a day? Like, but basically that's how they got all of their income. They sold merch, fundraisers, everything. But there was people that donated thousands. There's people that have left like six-figure jobs and everything. And even ex-members have come out and said, like, there was a whole thing on Dr. Phil. Vice have done a documentary. There was meant to actually this month. Um, was it Discovery, or one of the American channels anyway, was actually had signed up with her to do a full blown documentary, but she's passed away now. Um, but like, there's so many people that come forward and was like, we fully 100% believed she was God, and she used to sit there and say that she was talking to dead celebrities like Robin Williams and all.
Hmm. Yeah. Did
Insanity.
you ever end up checking out their website?
It was really weird. Let me
Oh,
try.
it's terrible. So my mom does a lot of managing online businesses and that kind of thing. And
Hmm.
so anytime I see a terrible website, I'll always send it to her or show it to her,
Yep.
and it was terrible. Like they had your stock purple color, like when you look at the color wheel when you just pick purple, they had
Hmm.
that with your
Yeah.
stock blue as the writing, and I'm like, I'm sorry, if you're trying to recruit me into your cult, this is not helping.
Literally, that was the thing. But their website to me looked like somebody in secondary school was for their very first time learning IT skills, and one of the modules was put a website together. But it was like not happening in this day and age, like it was happening back in 2004. That's what their website looks
I'd like
like.
to I'd like to say that my Neopets homepage looked way better than that. Just for context on how bad it was.
I know. It was, and even the pictures and the cutouts of her. Now, on their website, they literally, this is what they describe themselves as: we are rainbow warriors of love, choosing to be love in action. We're here to support mother of all creation. Like, that's their statement on the website, and they're still putting together events where people can go and meet them and hang out and everything. That's insane, like.
Yep. Well, and they're also still offering, well, the website that I saw was an archived copy, but they
Mm-hmm.
were offering, like, they had millions and millions of services you could click on, and there was
Yep.
suggested donations.
Because,
And
sorry.
I was going to say, I don't know if the website was still up when I looked at it. I may have actually thrown $1 at them just to see if they would still give me the service lower than the
Did you?
um actual recommended,
See,
but
I was
it wasn't
so
up.
tempted to send an email. And then I
You
was
should
like,
have.
should I have sent it? Oh, I should have sent an email.
I was gonna say I was tempted to click on their find an ambassador just to listen to
Stop.
them.
And get one. Oh my god. But on their official website, right? They welcome people home to a full disclosure and the only real truth. So they say that everything that you're living, like you're learning on Earth. So basically, they were saying that Earth is like a free will experiment, and that Mother God and God wanted to see what we chose to do without him or her being present, and we failed it. That we became the cancer of society. She called everybody who didn't believe in her and what was going on as, what was some of the videos? Like she was calling them cancer, she was calling them whores, like, and she got aggressive. Like it was scary aggressive how she gets towards people who don't believe in her.
Hmm.
It's insane.
Well, and from what I remember, most of those videos happened after several drinks.
Yeah, yeah, a hundred
Yeah.
percent. Like some of the videos I
Mhm.
have here, she has to be drunk when she's speaking. Like, there's just, it's her behavior and the way she's
Hmm.
talking, and they'd
Well,
offer
and
services. Oh, sorry.
yeah, I was just gonna say the guy who left, who was her lover for a while,
Yeah.
he said she had about 7 highballs of vodka, and we're talking vodka, and she would spray some water on top,
100%.
literally,
And he literally
and that
said
was a
that
night.
he was saying it would go, because where do I have it here about him? Because he came out and made a statement about her. I have his name here. So he was Andrew Profaki.
Mhm.
I think I pronounced that right. So he was known as Father God, right? So in 2014, he survived a deadly crash as a teen, and then he went. So he was still so young. Because I seen a video of him recently, and he looks no older than 24. And
Hmm.
she, at the time, she's probably what, 35.
Yep,
So
something like
why
that.
why is that not being spoke about? Do you know what I mean? Because he admitted they were lovers.
I think that's a society double standard where it's like
Yeah.
he's with an older woman, so it's okay. If he was the older man, then it would be he was corrupting
Oh,
her.
100%. 100%.
Mm.
But he went on this spiritual mission to, obviously after coming close to death, and that's when he came across Love Is One, and he joined them for 10 months. Now, he said, as soon as I got out of the taxi, now this is his word for word direct, as soon as I got out of the taxi and walked in the front door, I realised I had made a grave miscalculation. Everybody there was on a mushroom trip, and clearly none of them had gone to bed yet. It scared the crap out of me. And then, even though everyone says that they were against taking drugs and people had been kicked out, He then was like, Amy at that point in time was definitely one of the most brilliant, insightful people I'd ever met, but it all changed after dinner. She could drink like I've never seen before. She would she would fill a highball of glass. So what's a highball glass? Because like, it's like a
So
pint
a
glass.
highball is no, a pint glass is a tall boy. Is it a tall boy? A highball is like the ones that you would get whiskey in.
She could drink like I've never seen before. She'd fill a highball glass, I mean, almost to the whole way with vodka. You know, just a spritz of water on top. She'd probably drink 8, 9 of those a night. That's a lot of vodka. That is
That
insane, right?
is.
And she
Because
would turn into somebody else.
we're not talking like 8 or 9 shots. We're talking like, yeah, 250 to 350 mils
Like that's
of vodka.
like down south we would call that a naggin. So you'd get like, you know, the
Mhm.
bottles that are like that size. So this here is 500 mils. So she's probably drank in one glass that much vodka.
Regular
That's
can of Coke,
insane.
355 mils.
So she's
That's a
drinking,
can of Coke.
multiply that by 8 or 9 a night.
Hmm.
So
That's almost like a bottle. This
this
here's 750 milliliters.
so she's drinking like 3, almost 4 of them a night.
And a Monster's 473 milliliters.
Like that's, so see that Bombay there. She's drinking that bottle equivalent 3 to 4 times a night. 3, 4 of
Hmm.
them a night,
That's crazy.
and it's vodka. Like I'm
I'd be
Irish, and
dead.
I'd be dead.
I would be dead. Like, I can drink, but I would be dead.
No, like I half a bottle of vodka and I'm slurring my words. Like never mind 4 in one night.
Right? Gosh, and the
That's
hangover the
insane.
next day?
That's why she was back on it again. She must have some liver on her, but I genuinely think,
Right?
I can't imagine she was ever sober. Right, so this is the point I was getting to
Right?
actually. So at the start, everyone was saying that it was only after dinner that she would start drinking like this. But then somebody else came out recently on Dr. Phil, right? Because Dr. Phil covered it all. Like, it was amazing to watch all his clips, right? But somebody came out and she had only entered the cult for, like, I think it was a month or something. And she said that at all times she was drunk. But apparently then when she got drunk, now I have a couple of clips, right? I'm going to show you now in a second. But she would talk smack and just be very bitter about things, yelling and cussing. I'd never seen her like this before. Now, this is when Aurora jumped on live and was all like, oh, Carlson is organic, so she's not going to consume pharmaceuticals. So she does it with alcohol because it's organic, and she needed morphine because of the pain she was in. Now, the pain that she was in, towards the end, it was the cancer and her being paralyzed and all of that. But at the start, they said that her pain was from her absorbing the emotions of the collective around her, and that she would like take everybody else's pain. But then what her cult and her followers said about her didn't match up to what she said to Dr. Phil in an interview, where she blamed it all on not being able to feel what other people say, but more so that she had been raped, she was mistreated, she was abused, all of this, and that's what she said it was over. So what her followers are saying isn't adding up to what she's saying. You know what I mean? That's a weird one.
When you gotta wonder if they were even allowed to see the Dr. Phil interview.
There was 2 of them, but of course the 2 that were on the interview talking was Aurora, who still to this day defends every single thing that she does. And apparently they were so happy and excited for the Dr. Phil interview at the start because big things were to come.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't believe, like, kind of like we said before, the whole can't imagine she's ever sober. Because, yeah.
So
Drinking that much, when do you get to sober up?
this is the thing, because even me, I drink far, and far less than that. And there's nights that I'll still wake up the next day drunk.
Mm-hmm.
So she couldn't have been sober ever. Are these people on TikTok? They're all on YouTube kebab. Right, but this one here. So, this is a video from her from 2014, right? But it's even in this, I think she goes on very weird because it's this start of it. Like she cannot be sober in this.
Hey, everybody! Oh my gosh! Happy 999. 9999. We have had some very interesting words come out on this date, this magical date of 999. I'm a 9, Shasta's a 9. We're about to go out there and activate some stuff. Love has won. Yippee! All right. So I have a message to read to you.
So this is before but like,
Yeah, that's
that's not normal behavior. Like,
no. Even like looking at her, right, Carrie? So I was thinking about, so
Aye.
I've got ADHD and I get squirrely. Even when I'm squirrely, you can see that I'm looking for the thoughts. Her, it was, and then it was like she was delayed on the thought. Whereas even when you're squirrely with ADHD, it's like you're like looking for it. You're more animated.
Aye.
That's
I'm
just
like, so strange. Like, and then so this was a message. Now this is taken directly. This is directly from their YouTube page. Like if I scroll down, 5D full disclosure. This is their legitimate YouTube page. Like, but look how many.
oh my
Look at the
goodness.
likes to dislikes. 198 likes compared to 552 dislikes. The only time you see that is on a Nissan video or something.
So they're making ad revenue off of this.
Aye, they're making ad revenue, they're selling merch, and they have their straight away, look at that, the first thing up there, donate to love.
Oh boy. Also with the name, that was another thing I wanted to talk about the name. When I hear Love is One,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be some kind of like LGBT pro thing. Because, you know, love is love, all that kind of branding. And to hear Love has won, it was very confusing because I was like, they don't ever talk about LGBT rights at all from what I saw. So it was just interesting to see how they kind of piggybacked off of the similar names.
But like Roxy's saying there, cults always go for the happy clappy names.
True, yeah.
Which is, maybe she's more stoned than anything here. But again, they were anti-drug.
Yeah, like from what I know, from what I saw, the only drug she was taking was mushrooms and weed. And I don't think, maybe. So I'm in Canada. Weed is legal. But maybe like an indica, but even not an indica, sorry, I don't know. But maybe with the right strain, but even still, like, I don't think that's weed.
Like, here, we'll play, because look how she's talking now.
Sativa was the word I was looking for.
Miracles and magical synchronistic events. Based. Peace, balance, wholeness of being, present moment of now.
Also,
Again,
the pausing that she does, it's just weird.
It is very, very strange, isn't it? Like, the way she's acting.
Yeah.
What was this one then? So, this is her now talking on Dr. Phil, right? And this was her family and all. But look how she's now talking differently to Dr. Phil. What date was this one again? Oh, this is actually recent. So this was September last year.
I believe that my daughter Amy is the leader of a cult.
Growing up, my sister Amy was very sweet.
Like, look how normal the family is. So it's just, it's so bizarre to me because it's not like you can turn around it and like, I don't know, I can't say maybe there wasn't childhood trauma because you never know someone's situation, but it just doesn't look like the typical person to drop out and join a cult.
Yeah, it definitely feels like there's a disconnect between her and the family. Even listening to the family, they say, we were normal. We were a normal family.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it just flipped.
Like,
She got good grades.
Amy didn't show any signs of acting different.
Amy was married 3 times by the time she was in her early 20s.
now this though could have maybe been, again, I'm not saying anything for someone being married, but early 20s, it's still quite young to be married 3 different times.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, what's
Could
going on there?
hmm You do have to wonder, and it could suggest some kind of instability. Not saying that,
Mhm.
getting divorced multiple times suggests that, but just the short amount of time.
That's so young as well.
Amy had 3 children with 3 different dads.
Yeah,
After her
impulsive.
3rd child was born, Amy became very distant.
She did neglect her children.
Around 2006, she started acting strangely.
Amy has bounced around from different states.
She started calling herself Mother God, and she believed that she was God.
My sister is running a cult with a bunch of followers.
Now it's that picture there that I think, wait,
Running a cult.
that's the most famous one that people see.
Yeah, that's the one that's on TikTok, which, in all honesty, is a real good picture of her.
It is a good picture, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But the mental health side of things, personality wise, going from experience and the way she was acting and talking is giving me vibes potentially psychosis. Well, if it was a case that she had psychosis, do you know, things like smoking, I know some people in chat smoke weed, nothing against it, but I have seen people in my life in the past, like, it does bring out things like psychosis. If there's mental health problems there anyway, that's going to bring it to the forefront, on top of then mushrooms and on top of drinking so heavily, like, I'm in my early 20s and I couldn't imagine even being married. Exactly, like,
Right?
this is the thing. So to be in your early 20s, like my age now, and to be married 3 separate occasions, what? That's
Right?
That's
Well,
so
and even
strange to
me, mid-20s, being married once, okay, maybe. Twice? That's a bit of a stretch. And then 3 times? Like, I don't know.
But it's so bizarre to me that it's happening in her early 20s. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just, maybe then, is the family not jumping in? All I can think of is the money, too much money lost on weddings and stuff.
With a bunch of followers in Hawaii.
She has been in charge of a group called Love Has Won.
She believes that she has been sent here to save the world.
No matter what's happened to me, I will still stand for love. I commanded all my atoms to come home back into light.
All of Amy's followers refer to her as Mom or Mama.
Mom is absolutely amazing. She's magical.
I believe that Amy is scamming all of her followers. She has people buy stuff for her and send her gifts.
Your contract is to be conscious. So having the unconscious.
So see that clip there? I actually have the full clip of that. They're actually like verbally abusing him. And they tried to turn around then and say, oh, we never abused any of our members. See, him in particular, there's 2 clips that I have. One, that full clip, I have the original. And then there's another where, so a lot of their tactics was, it was the mental side of things. That's how they kept people grasped, as all cults do, right? But a lot of it was sleep deprivation. So anybody in this cult, you were not allowed to go to sleep before 12 o'clock. And that was like the minimum time that you could fall asleep. And even at that, if you were falling asleep, they would belittle you. They would start laughing at you. They would record you. They would do everything to keep you awake, right? And then the latest you were allowed to sleep in was 5 a.m. in the morning. And there's videos where they're literally, again, braiding him. And then Aurora came out and was like, no, that's just the lazy people in our community. And I was just
what? Was it this video they were berating him for bringing her meatballs instead of chicken parma or whatever?
No, that was somewhere. Oh, I need to find that one. And she is ripping him, like she is squealing at him.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder they're all.
Well, and also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just reading Kebab's comment there. No wonder they were all cray sleep deprivation. 100%. Like
Yes.
you're 100% gonna fully believe that she is God, Jesus, whoever she says she is. If
Mhm.
you're not sleeping, like.
Yep.
Being brainwashed
Well,
by
and
this.
the other thing to mention, so I don't know if it's super evident in the one video, where she's on the porch, but her face looks very purple, and that's actually a side effect of drinking colloidal silver straight, which was
Yes.
what the cure for COVID was that they were saying. And it actually turns you purple.
Yep. So I believe why she got so sick was because she was drinking that collodion silver plus the heavy
Mhm.
alcohol, but their followers were pushing this to people worldwide. The FDA even made a statement and was like, do not do this. If you drink this, your organs are going to fail. Your skin's going to turn that color. So I was kind of thinking, as I was doing my research, because obviously there's not much more to back it up, I wonder how many other people worldwide died or have given themselves damage to their body from following that, thinking that's a cure to COVID-19. That's insane. Like,
Yeah.
I would believe just to get a nap if I was that tired. Oh.
Same. I would probably tell her I believe to get a nap too.
But there's one clip, right? So I think in this interview here with Dr. Phil, she just turns around and goes, we didn't use sleep deprivation as a tactic or whatever. Or I don't know if it's this one or a couple. I've watched so many clips on her. But there's a video online where she is like aggressively like force laughing at the accusation of using sleep deprivation. You know that, like, you know when someone's being caught out on a lie or they're being called out on something, but they don't want to give it away, and they're like, it's that like very forced, like evil, just nasty laugh. She proper went into like a fit of laughter and being like, no, of course not. And I was like, oh, that is creepy. Like, do you know?
Wow.
Is saying, I'm failing my contract, mother.
Love is One puts out daily live streams every day. On all the videos, she is screaming, she is cursing, she is demanding people to do what she asks.
My own light workers battle me! Serving love and bringing a new paradigm, you whores.
Amy calls anyone who is a non-believer
someone drunk.
whores and retards.
That
Yeah,
aggression
that's-
is vodka drunk.
Yeah. Well, and the erraticness to it too is very much just being plastered.
And again, sitting there, but like how angrily she's calling people whores who don't believe in her. The aggression, that's like, from what I've seen, again, like, drink affects people differently and so on. But the fact that we know it was vodka she was drinking, and I have seen people vodka drunk, vodka gives that very aggressive, will fight everyone type of drunk to most people. And that's what you can see in that clip there, like, that's insane. Like,
Yeah. That's terrifying.
I think here's the set. Here, I'll play the full thing anyway.
Spiritual ego whore, done! If you're not connected to me, you're out.
Amy does seem high and drunk in the videos.
Amy believes that she can give spiritual surgeries, and she believes that she can heal any.
This was another thing actually. The fact that she's performed thousands and thousands of spiritual surgeries. She's removed people's brains. She's cured cancer via telephone calls. What's your opinion
So
on that
I
one?
actually, okay, so more context. I am a level 2 Reiki practitioner, which sounds, level 2. Anyhow, regardless, level 2 Reiki practitioner. And there is something in Reiki called a energetic surgery. But even in Reiki, you are taught this does not replace surgery. This aids in surgery.
Yeah.
So that's the definition. It's more about dealing with the spirit, coming to terms with whatever surgery is going to happen. Whereas what she's talking about is she's saying that I have physically removed this from somebody through my energetic surgery and that kind of thing. And that's scary. That is scary to me.
That's, It's terrifying. Like, and she said that she's cured people over the phone. There's been people after this surgery turn around and say, no, 100% she cured me. And she then blames this surgery on, because I think in one of the clips, Dr. Phil questions her on this and says, like, how is this not exhausting? And she was like, no, that's why I'm paralyzed. Like,
Yeah.
you know
And
what I
like even in Reiki, you can do distance Reiki,
mean? Mm-hmm.
but it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of them, and you can never make a claim that you cured somebody.
Yeah.
Like even in the teaching of Reiki, you cannot claim that you cured them because you have no way of knowing whether you cured them
Mm-hmm.
or whether they got over it, right? Like not got over it, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't know. So even in the teaching of Reiki, you're taught you can never make that claim. So the fact that she's making those claims is terrifying, terrifying to me.
And she's so confident about it too. Like, I'll try find the clip where she actually gets interviewed by Dr. Phil, and you see it in her face. Like, she is like 100%. I cured them. And then her followers like Aurora and I was like, no, she did. There's everyone to back it up, and you're like, what? Like, it just blows my mind that. But the fact that so many people fell for it too, so many people, like, my head can't
Yeah,
even wrap around it. Like,
I know. And that's the scary thing is that so that probably happened because she had one or two people saying, "No, she cured me." And then you
yeah,
have people who are desperate for a cure to
this is
something
true.
they've been
Yeah,
told there's no hope, and they hear somebody say, "No, I was cured." And that's how they get you. They just you fall prey to that, right?
that's very true. Like,
hmm Which is another
Anyone
reason
with
why in Reiki we're told you can't make those claims.
mm-hmm.
Because if you start making those claims and people start backing you up, then you have desperate people trying to come and grasp for anything.
Definitely. And like Jodie said, the fact that she was so confident in herself in regards to believing her own lies, no wonder a lot of. But this is the thing: if you show confidence for anything, and you say it over and over and over and over and over and over again, people are going to believe it.
Well, and the other thing is, I think it was like you have to tell yourself a lie 5 times, I think it was. It's either 5 or 15. I know there's wildly different numbers, but there's a 5 in them. So it's either 5 or 15 times, and then your brain will actually believe it.
So, like, maybe at the start, maybe conspiracy theory time about her, but maybe at the start she was like, oh, I'll get into this because maybe there was the mental illness side of it. And again, she had just had her third child. She wasn't connecting to the child, so that's like a big thing to me. That's postpartum. You know what I mean? Whether it be postpartum psychosis, and that's why maybe she's behaving like this because it was never treated. Maybe psychosis came along because of the drug use and the alcohol. But I definitely believe there was either postpartum depression or psychosis. That's why she left. Join this, and then all of a sudden she's telling them, oh no, I'm Mother God. It's me. I'm Jesus.
Well, you have to wonder if maybe she didn't come to that on her own. If maybe in this depression and psychosis, somebody said, you don't connect to that child because it's not your child, because you are the mother of God, not the mother of this human child. Like if somebody took advantage of that in that moment of weakness, tweaked that a little bit, and then her brain ran with it and she went out of control.
I think definitely someone's had to have a play in there to make her, because she's not going to come to that conclusion by herself. She's not going to be that confident stepping into a brand new group of people that she's met and turn around and go, no, it's me. I'm Mother God. I am your leader. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can never imagine someone being that cocky.
I think you would show signs before. Like you would, pardon me, you wouldn't seek that cult. You would seek that cult out for that reason, and you probably would case the cult first. But I don't think you would. I think there'd be signs if that was her motive, kind of thing.
Aye. And then, Carrie, I think people are drawn to confidence. So if somebody says something in confidence, like she was saying she cured people, you're going to believe it 100%. She gives the same feels as the leader of that cult. But this is the thing, right? I feel like all of these type of cults, the leader has the same personality traits, and they behave the same way, they take advantage of people the same way, they always have multiple partners, and they always go on this very confident yet aggressive way. They use manipulative tactics to keep everybody in check. Do you know, like, people lack of sleep, that's a big thing. Malnutrition, like, she was weighted on hand and foot, like you seen that clip that I knew you were on about, where she's screaming at someone for bringing her meatballs rather than chicken parmesan. Like, screaming at somebody because they brought you meatballs instead of chicken parmesan, like, what? But it's that, like, aggression that's shown, and she didn't feel like, apparently they were all underfed. Like, essentially an unwritten cult handbook. They all tend to follow the exact same rules into power. They do, definitely. Very erratic, confident, manipulative, very brainwashy. Psychopathic, sociopathic characteristics. I'd love to do a deep dive into, like, all these different cult leaders' personalities. We should do that, Katie. That should be our next one.
Right?
Yeah.
Next one, we use psychology on these people. But I think the reason why they all follow the same guidebook is because it's proven and it works. Especially in this day and age, you could easily do a quick Google search of how to be a good cult leader. I bet you if I typed it in right now, this textbook would show up. So I think that's probably why we're seeing that pattern in a lot of these successful cult leaders, is because it works. WikiHow.
Right, Ethan, so
Wiki how to be a cult leader.
Are we starting a cult? The cult of Ivan a Craft. Stop.
Oh my god. I actually made a tweet probably a couple months ago where I said the difference between being a big streamer and a cult leader is self-control. Because if you think about it, like, some of these big people, so let's say Ludwig one day decided he wanted to create a cult, or Ninja decided that they wanted to create a cult. It's happening.
Yep, and look at 30 Seconds to Mars. That like that literally just backs up 100% what you're saying. Look at 30 Seconds to Mars, right? Not a lot of people actually know this. Well, I know that people who would have kept up with that taste of music do, but 30 Seconds to Mars, look how successful that band was. Look at how successful he was, the hype that was around. They now have a cult where they charge members thousands and up to hundreds of thousands of dollars for tickets to go to an island where he gets up and does the whole cult spiel. I will not be surprised that if in a couple of years we see something scary there with 30 Seconds to Mars.
Like, we're gonna see an online cult soon. I'm actually surprised we haven't already.
They're probably hidden in the shadows. This is the thing.
Probably.
Like if
you heard it here first. I'm predicting it. It's gonna be a thing soon.
But like, if you think of it, there has been online, like, cults in a sense, like Reddit forums. There was that Reddit forum for, like, incels. That was a cult within itself that just hated on women.
So, if we want to think about how easy it is to fall into a cult, just think about who you idolize and what you would do.
She claims that she is Jesus, Marilyn Monroe, Cleopatra, and different people in the past.
You can, like, tear me down, kill me. I've been killed several times. Kill me!
It does seem like they're following a crazy person. She's not Amy anymore.
Well, Amy, who calls herself Mother God, is here today for her first ever television interview, and we're going to talk to her in just a bit. But first, joining me is Amy's mom, Linda, her sister, Chelsea, and virtually Amy's other sister, Tara. So welcome to all three of you. I'm glad you're here. Let me start with you, Mom. You say this is not the daughter that you raised.
That is correct. Amy is not who I raised.
Were you surprised when she abandoned her 3 children?
Yes, I was.
That was not something you expected her to do.
No, I didn't.
You didn't see any warning signs of it?
None.
Was she close to her children?
No, not really. She wasn't a very maternal mother.
So this to me is quite weird. Sorry, I keep pausing this. But the fact that she's like, was never maternal, but she's meant to be the mother of all creation. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Do you know what I mean?
Right? The other thing is, as much as, parents raised their kids. Anytime I hear a parent go, "That's not the kid I raised," you go, "Okay, but did you know your kid?" Because you have to wonder if that was behind the surface. Maybe she had friends that knew that this was coming, and I haven't heard anything from friends before saying whether or not this is her or not.
No,
So you gotta
and like,
wonder if she had friends that believe this. Even if we could hear from one of her employees at McDonald's, if they were like, no, she was not this person, you know,
but she would
I
have
think
to
that piece is
be
missing.
like to become a manager. Well, I know America's like a wee bit different to Europe and stuff, but like to me, like I couldn't have got a management position in life if I hadn't some sort of stability to me and correct mindset. You know what I mean? Imagine seeing your manager go apeshit online post McDonald's. Like, imagine that. Like,
So I can't speak to America, but I know in Canada, kind of similar sometimes. But there are a lot of instances where managers get promoted because there's an empty seat and nobody wants it, except for that one person.
very true, very true, very true. And
Yeah.
again, if they're stating that she wasn't maternal, you know, was it a case that she just put everything into work because she didn't want to go home? You know, something like you're saying, something mustn't have been right in the family life or in the everyday life, because again, 3 marriages before she was mid-20s, that in itself is insane. 3 kids to 3 different fathers, that doesn't really, stuff happens, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's the marriages more so. And the fact she wasn't even
and the other thing,
kids.
I know, the other thing is that, you know, in a lot of, I know it's not the same thing, but in a lot of serial killer cases, you have neighbors, people they went to elementary school with, coming out of the woodwork saying, no, they were so different, nobody knew. And we don't have that here. So I'm wondering if she wasn't different, if that everybody but her family knew that she was this person.
This is true, but even her kids want nothing to do with her. Like, her kids, like, genuinely, the minute she was gone, not one of them. I think the eldest son,
it's like 13, right?
I tried communicating with her and then went, no, I want nothing to do with her. There's nothing, you're right, there's nothing. When I looked up, like, love has won, outspoken people, blah, 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 nothing came up from past family, past friends, past co-workers, only the small select couple of people. Yeah, but then there's maybe that side to it where the family don't want to give anything away what happened in the past because they have an image to uphold.
Do you know? True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, if you are in a family that has that, I can't tarnish the family name mentality, that in and of itself creates a lot of trauma for a lot of people.
100%.
Having to be the perfect child. Having to be the perfect child, and in America, ending up working at McDonald's as a manager, that's not something that a lot of parents are proud of in America.
With 3 marriages and 3 kids to different fathers. Like, again, not saying like different fathers is bad, but it's to that type of family mentality, yeah.
You could definitely feel like you have failed and look to restart your life pretty quickly.
Again, not trying to make judgment. This is just what I'm thinking, but looking at the family, they all have that perfect family look. And then she's this outsider.
Yep. Well, and even we said family looks normal.
Aye.
Last time you talked to her?
Probably about a year and a half ago. We had a pretty short conversation.
Okay. And Chelsea, do you think that this is just a big con, or do you think she's mentally ill? Do you think she's too far gone to come back to being your sister? What do you think?
I think it's a combination. I believe that she has been brainwashed, and so I think there's some mental illness there. Sometimes she acts as if she's Amy, and then sometimes she acts like completely different people. So I see that mental illness. I do.
But how she says people, like there's multiple different personalities there.
Right? Well, and the other thing I'm noticing is that in all the pictures, Amy doesn't really look happy. Like
I
she's smiling, but if you
but
look at her
it's
eyes, it's not connecting.
I like that one
And
right there.
and this is a picture that I'm assuming is when she's in the cult, based on the way she's dressed. But the fact that the dead behind the eyes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very much. And even like she's chewing a wasp. But even in the video that you seen her like replying to the family, she's like
Mm-hmm.
like it's nothing's genuine. How old was she? So she was 30 when she joined the cult. She was 45 when she died. So this is August last year. She's about what, 44?
Something like that, yeah.
40, 43, 44, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on this YouTube page it's saying September 2020. She looks a lot older, doesn't she? She looks...
Well, and that's the drinking and the drugs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%.
Like heavy drinkers look way older than they are.
And this is the thing, like anybody who's just like joined in now or maybe missed it earlier, like she was drinking at the early stages as well, Katie. This was at the early stages as well, because we got confirmation from an ex-member later on that she was drinking all day then. But at the very beginning, she was drinking... See that bottle there that Katie has? She was drinking about 4 of those of vodka a night.
And you gotta wonder, was she also sleep deprived? Right? Like, how do you... I know that people were waiting on her hand and foot, but you gotta wonder if she was also keeping those hours, or longer hours. Right? If she was up past midnight, and
I think she
up
was.
around the same time. Like, she's
how...
probably also sleep deprived.
Yeah, because how can she turn around and expect people to wake up and stay awake if she's not? You know what I mean? Like...
that she is Mother God, and Rick Ross and I was just talking about whether or not she holds herself out to be above others.
He's like what age, like 60, and he looks younger than her.
It's not very interesting or creative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the
look at her.
pattern
I
is
think that's her paralyzed
anybody
now.
that criticizes is the enemy.
Yeah, look, she doesn't
and
look happy.
Non-believers are lashed out at. She actually says people that don't believe are killing her slowly, and we heard her rant of calling them every foul name in the book, people that don't believe in her. So, I mean, it's like 101 for grandiose, narcissistic, pathological leaders, just right down the line. Like, there's just nothing creative here. It's just destructive.
It's a we-they mentality. The group and Amy are the elite. They are right.
So he's
Everyone
like
else is wrong.
Expert.
And the imperative is to get right, get with Amy, and move to where Mother God is and serve Mother God. And so anyone that doubts her is labeled in a negative way. And as you can see, people who decide to leave, which is the only way they can vote in this kind of dictatorship, they are stigmatized as being very bad people, people that have not lived up to their potential, people that have failed. And the one person who is never criticized, there is no critique, there is no questioning, is Amy. Amy is always right. And if you disagree with Amy, you're...
But she looks so unhappy there, doesn't she?
But she's almost not reacting either. Like, as much as she doesn't look happy, she's just heard this man say that she's a cult leader, and she just... like, no reaction.
Because even from this same interview, Dr. Phil, I'm not going to play it now because it's going to be a bit much for some people, but the clip about the kid being locked away, like a baby actually, should I say, being locked away in a closet, and he was like, can you explain that? That's child abuse. And she just goes, yeah, I'll explain it. It's just, he was misbehaving. And it's like, where's your, like, if you're so 100% this works and 100% it's not child abuse, like, why are you not angry at these accusations, at, like, what people are saying to you? Like you said, she's just sitting there and taking it, and he's saying she's narcissistic, she is a bad person, she's a cult leader, and she's like, yeah.
Well, I wonder if in that moment she is high. like
True.
on weed. That apathy of like, I'm here, but I'm not here, you know? Where it's
See, I think
like,
as well, this was the stage that people came around and said that she was drinking every single hour of the day. But then Carrie said she looks like she's at that level of angry. She's gone calm, if that makes sense. It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're wrong.
Amy, what do you say?
I feel it's completely incorrect. What I actually share with everybody is not to surrender to me. I've never said that, to surrender to me. I just say surrender to love and yourself. And whatever your soul and your heart shares with you to do, that's what you do.
But you tell them you're...
So like Kebab says, she is so calm there compared to earlier, like at the beginning of her journey, when she was so passionate about this and she was like, you're fucking whores if you don't believe in me. And now she's like, oh, I never say that. I say if you don't surrender to love. Like, two completely different reactions.
Well, the other interesting thing is that she's not looking at the webcam, right?
Aye.
Like, she's looking over here.
As if there's like a script for national TV. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, whereas if, like, the other videos we saw, she was talking to the camera. She was talking to you.
Yeah. 'Cause
whereas
look, her
now
eyes
she's on
literally
Dr. Phil. We're now on Dr. Phil,
Yeah.
she's talking over here. Yeah. Which is just
I never
interesting.
even noticed that, Katie. That is a good one.
Well, that's something that I watch because it bothers me. Like, when I'm editing my videos, it always bothers me if I'm not looking at the camera when I'm talking to people, so I notice that.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I keep trying to like get in the habit of looking at the camera, and then I'm like, oh. But she's so calm.
God. You're actually God.
Yeah, like,
you
even
hung
for
on the
this...
cross. You recall being...
Yeah, even for this, I've got your face. Like, here's my camera, here's your face. Right? So that when I'm looking at you and talking, right, that's something that I set up because I know that I want to look into the camera. And the fact that she's looking over there, and to be a cult leader of that level, and to be looking at people in the videos, like, you have to know what you're doing.
Because, like, seeing his face, so we can see in his face, right? Can you see my mouse? You can, right? So you can see his face. He's staring at the camera that her face is on. The same way that throughout this, I've been staring at you when you're speaking, you've been staring at me when I'm speaking. But her eyes, now they're looking there. But 2 seconds ago, they were looking in this direction.
Yeah.
Off to the camera, as if there was something here. That's so strange.
And even, like, if you're thinking, you're kind of like looking down generally, but she's looking like straight off to the side. Like, it's not even just oh, I'm thinking, it's I'm looking at something.
That's insane. Like,
being crucified on the cross, and that you are God.
In truth, we are all God.
That's not what you say. You don't say you're all God. You say, I am Mother God.
I am Mother God, but we are all God.
Yeah, but Amy, in the live streams, which I've watched quite a bit of your, live streams, people talking about you. They talk about the importance of your work, focusing on you, subordinating themselves.
Yeah, her eyes start drifting off.
So if you're not encouraging them to completely surrender to you and to obey you and to be submissive to you and submit to your orders, your ideas, etc., then why are they repeatedly saying this in the live streams?
I encourage them to follow their own heart and to serve love.
Right. So this is the thing. Like Carrie has just pointed there, she's given very vague answers. So saying stuff without saying nothing at all, without answering the questions. The way she's presenting herself is so different to the actual life. So you can tell she is not comfortable right now being interviewed. Your man's after flustering her because you could see it where she was like, as if she was going to reply something and then was like 100% he's thrown her off guard. And she's backpedaling everything she's ever stood for before. That's insane.
Yep. Well, and the other thing is if you look at the cult expert, same thing. Looking at the camera, talking to her. And even when she's looking at him, she's I don't know. She's still not looking quite at the camera the same way she does when she's doing her speeches. Because when she's yelling at people on the videos, she's looking right at the camera. So she knows how to look at a camera. Sorry, this is just a bit of a pet peeve where it's like
there.
Yeah, right, yes, this, exactly.
So, I'll play this 2 seconds, go back to her speaking and the difference, and there's only 4 years of a difference between here.
Coming in waves. Love has
Yep, look at that eye contact.
Straight in. And then with this.
Create this dichotomy where either you are with God, or you are wrong. You are in a very negative existence. And you also create this kind of urgency that something is going to happen, that people need to come and be with you. They need to listen to what you have to say, because you will not be here for long, and the world is going through a particular crisis that you feel.
There, did you, like, she literally looked up as if someone was standing over.
Well, and I just had a thought. So Aurora's now taking the charge of the group?
Yep.
I wonder if it was Aurora being the puppet in the end.
Yeah.
Like, if she had gotten to the point where she was out of control. Okay, hold on. Conspiracy theory. What if she had gotten to the point where she was bad for the group, and Aurora saw that she could possibly just make everything happen bad? Like, I'm thinking, I wonder if the Hawaii incident caused Aurora to think, hey, maybe somebody needs to... Aurora's Amy reincarnated. Yes, kebab.
Yep.
I'm here for it. If Donald Trump was her father in a past life, Amy is now Aurora. But I wonder if Aurora maybe tried to get her out in order to save the cult. And if she ended up poisoning her.
Do you know what? I think you're right? Because there's multiple videos, and I'll try to get some up now as well, right? There's I genuinely don't think she died a natural way, and I'm surprised this hasn't been looked into. I'm surprised that there was no murder inquest or anything like that done.
No, it wasn't poison. Oh my gosh. Okay, it wasn't poison. It was suffocation. Somebody put a pillow over her face. That's why the lips were distorted and the eyes were gone, because the blood vessels will burst around the mouth and in the eyes. I watch too much crime shows. The eyes being removed and the lips being peeled back for me, that's what that makes me think that it was suffocation.
If you want anything solved, just give it to 2 white women on a podcast. Me and Katie are solving crimes.
Oh, wait, this side. I was wondering, so I was thinking about it yesterday, because I absolutely had an Egypt phase, and I was well and truly in tune with mummification. I know too much about mummification. And I was wondering, like, why would you remove the eyes? And only the eyes? Because that's the only thing that was mentioned, was that they removed her eyes. I could understand if they removed the eyes, the organs, and everything, and they properly mummified her. Or properly. Yeah. But to remove just the eyes, there has to be a reason for it. You know, and even spiritually, there was no reason. And that's why I went to go watch the Ask a Mortician's version of it. Yeah. Because I was like, maybe she'll mention that the eyes pop out in bodies or something, right? Like some kind of explanation. But there wasn't one from her. And she's usually good about giving that explanation if there is one.
And usually eyes pop out when someone was strangled. That's
get buggy.
What you tend to see. Yeah. So this is the first time that chat's gonna see Aurora, right? This is her Aurora speaking about her on Dr. Phil now. Here we go.
You believe that Amy is Mother God, correct?
Yes,
absolutely.
And what is Mother God to you?
She is everything to us.
I mean, what does Mother God, do you believe that she is?
Oh my God, wait, with this pause.
God?
Aurora has that look of a cult leader.
She does.
Doesn't she? Being Hope and Aurora, but doesn't, like, Hope is very just happy and chirpy and I believe in God and blah blah blah. But look at Aurora, look at her eye. There's something smug about that. And she looks like Amy too, doesn't she, Carrie?
Yes. I was just gonna say Hope has that naive la-di-da, I'm here, I'm happy. And Aurora has that calm, cool, I'm confident and in control.
But there's something about the eyes that's just, she knows what she's doing.
I guarantee you, that's what happened. She killed Amy in order to take the cult over because she was bad for the brand.
Of the deity, of God, the creator of the universe.
Yes.
That must be an amazing experience for you.
It has been, and yes, it is.
Okay, and she has said that she's done over 100,000 healing sessions, including spiritual surgery, where she can take a brain out spiritually and heal the brain and then put it back in the body spiritually. I mean, she's not saying she actually physically takes the brain out of the skull, correct, Amy?
Yes.
Over 100,000 times.
I've done it over 100,000 sessions, yes.
Okay.
Probably more than that.
That must drain you something terrible.
It takes a lot of work, but I have a lot of energy, despite my condition.
And how long does something like that take?
Looking after someone.
Anywhere from...
She physically, looked.
So this is their most recent stream, right, from a week ago.
Come up after you like the page and then you see the content.
Oh no!
Or
I thought that was an ad.
I don't know how it works, but I never checked to see what his response was back.
Hope and
but
Aurora.
It was weird. He was like, yeah,
if everyone who was here a year ago remembers when we actually got to go viral for a month, and not even viral, but they were actually showing us the real numbers. I'll still never forget that time, that glitch in the Matrix that we literally all of a sudden, because we were, over the years, we had obviously built up the platform and we had built up an audience, and they were consistently showing us about we were doing pretty well. They were consistently showing us about 8,000 or so views for each stream. And then that one day in May, whoever was there, and it just glitched out, and we literally, if I go back to that video, there's 100,000
8,000 views a stream? I'm sorry, Sleep. I think we're in the wrong business. We may have to actually start that cult.
Right, so folks, you heard it here first. Me and Katie Bunny are now running a cult, so you'll find us over on YouTube. But 8,000, but that's insane, because I get there's us as humans, we have this morbid curiosity, and obviously if she has died, it's triggered this boom explosion of people looking up this, and they'll be watching their streams. But there's only so much that you were going to watch, and only so often you were going to watch when you were just curious about them. And then think of the percentage of people who were curious, started listening to them, and then started becoming followers. 8,000, that's an insane number. And they jumped up to 100,000.
So part of when I was in school, one of the things we had to do was look at other religions to, better accommodate people in long-term care. And the group who did Scientology, because there were so many of us that he just started throwing out religions and that kind of thing. And so the group that did Scientology, I was friends with one of them, and we were talking while they were doing it, and she's like, you know what? They do have some good points. And I'm like, no, they don't. But she was researching it for school, and it was just, they've got some good points. I'm like, no, they don't. Stop. Do not even go there, because, so the fact that people researching something just to see what it is, or to learn a little bit more, so easily can just fall into that. Yeah. And if you look at their website, things that they were offering twin flame readings, and all of these hot topic, hot button things, where I actually looked at them to kind of see how they fall with other services that are offered, and they talk a lot about things that are popular, not popular like trendy, but they use a lot of those hot button topics and saying, oh, we can do this for you, we can do that for you. When I looked at their website, there was hundreds and hundreds of various spiritual services that they offered that didn't seem out of place. So if you looked at it, you would go, oh, okay, they offer all these things along with everybody else in the spiritual community that offers these, which, if you didn't do a deep dive, could give them almost like notoriety. Like it could validate their claims almost.
But I found the videos of them on their mushroom trip, but there's a clip of Aurora beforehand completely denying it, right? So
okay.
And I found a couple of the videos as well of them abusing members.
A group mushroom trip, I don't know who would have shared that because we didn't have anybody around doing that with us, so I don't know who, like, we haven't done that with anybody, so I don't know who created the story because we don't know anybody who did that.
The wording.
Transforming energies in the 94th dimension.
I can
All
drink
tools you can get.
mushrooms, smoke pot at once.
She ate an ounce of mushrooms. The first night we tried to get her to the starships. We picked out like a pile from Saint Germain, then she was like, Saint Germain says all of them.
Yeah. November 2016. That day, Trump came through to Mother in a vision, mushroom vision, I believe.
So in that first clip, they all admitted to taking mushrooms. They were all obviously stoned. And now in this clip, they're passing a joint.
Well, so in the clip where they were being interviewed, even there she goes, I don't know who would have posted that. We didn't do that with anybody around us. Right? The wording is very much, oh, we did it, but we only did it with people who we trusted.
And
that's
then
what
did
that
you
wording
see-
says to me.
And the panic in her face when she was like looking around to be like, I don't know who would have posted that. Yet apparently it was so against this cult to do drugs, and people have been kicked out for doing drugs. They're all passing a joint.
Well, right. The other thing, though, is if you look at the second clip where they're actually showing the trip, Aurora is there. She doesn't look inebriated. She looks in control. Because I was watching to see if she was, because I think she's going to take over the cult, I was watching her to see if maybe she knew what was happening, and I think that she was sober.
She 100% knows what she's doing. Aurora was always in control. Yep, 100% kebab.
I wonder if maybe Aurora was the one to tell Amy that she was the mother of God, and then her creation got out of control, and now she has to take over.
But Aurora said that she wasn't in the cult since Amy was there. She only joined in the last. So Amy said a couple of months now. I think from what I was gathering from interviews, I think Aurora is now with the cult about 3.5 years. So she's quite new because Amy was there 15 years prior. But I do think it's been in the last couple of years that stuff's really hit the fan and stuff's really gone downhill. And I'll play this clip again to kind of go over the Aurora being in control.
So you watch her over on the, yeah, right over there.
Dimension.
I can
All
drink
tools you can get.
mushrooms, smoke pot at once.
She ate an ounce of mushrooms.
Look at the concern on her face.
Last night we tried to get her to the starships. We picked out like a pile from Saint Germain, then she was like, Saint Germain says all of them.
Yeah. November 2016. That day, Trump came through to Mother in a vision, mushroom vision, I believe. Mom, the magic mushroom.
Yes, I was crucified. I have the whole thing documented. I went back through the timeline. I experienced it all during a mushroom trip that Saint Germain took me on.
I sat
Oh my
and I
God.
watched fat Hawaiians bathe in the water.
Look who
while
it is
on
again,
mushrooms,
Aurora
and
and
I
Hope.
hysterically laughed and.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the other ones? What are the other tools?
We use
Weed, cannabis,
mushrooms, cigarettes,
Mushrooms.
alcohol.
And it opened up.
Where was that?
Huh? That was a mushroom trip in 2014.
So it was here.
At some of the comments here that Mom had wrote, she was saying that she was on a mushroom trip and turned into the tree of life and then into a 60-foot emerald.
So before I went to sleep this morning, we're on this mushroom trip and just going through.
So once a week, every Friday, I would go on a mushroom trip.
So again, like, there's so much evidence coming directly from their mouths that they were taking drugs, and they were so, nope, we're anti, so they loved shrooms, 100%. And then here's now where they start mocking people and using the sleep deprivation and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it seems mainly like other people in control more so than her.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? She's the figurehead that's out of control. She's wild and crazy. And then you've got Aurora just kind of standing off to the side. As much as she's talking about, like, in that one clip, there's a moment where she's concerned. There's a look of concern on her face. And then she jumps into the, oh yeah, this much from Saint Germain. Like, she just jumps right back into that laughing, I'm playing along. And even in the other stuff, she's laughing and stuff, but she looks the most sober out of anybody.
She 100% knows what she's doing. And I'll do it in a sec. I'll look up and see if there's videos more about her. I'd love to know if there's more said about her from ex-cult members. I would love to see if that's a thing. But this is one of them here mocking a sleep-deprived member.
Yo, it's like a drug intervention, you know? My son's on the, you know, he's a heavy doser, smoker, puffer, you know, he likes the lines. He likes it mainline energy just straight from God. You know what I'm saying? He steals it straight, he don't give a fuck. He'll pass out, pretend he's asleep, but he needs that drug for his butthole. See, last night I seen him, he was like this, sleeping like this. Look at him. Sleeping with his dick up in the air and his legs spread like this. Sonny, you gonna wake up and serve God, or you gonna go to sleep?
Drug for his butthole?
Guess what? Really? When? When you choose?
Today, as soon as
Sometime today?
As soon as I'm up, yes.
Okay. Well, when are you gonna get up? Because everyone's up. We never went to sleep while you sleep.
Look at his eyes. He is struggling to stay awake.
Mm-hmm.
Like his eyes are like he's drifting back into that. And then he's saying, you haven't been to sleep. Why are you sleeping?
Well, and you wonder, so the combination of being high out of his mind and sleep deprived, like both of those things are going to make you so drowsy.
100%, like 100%.
Sleeping. Your first fractal.
I asked you if I could.
Oh, yes, you did. And you did, and then we got you up, remember?
He slept for
You
an
had
hour,
your hour, and then we got you up, remember? And then you wandered back in here, remember? I seen you on the stairs. I'm like, where are you going? This nigga came out the room. Went back in like it was a new day. And went... Oh, mama, you're so awesome. Like a new day, this nigga went back to sleep. Oh, wait till mama hears what happened here. Of course, mama. It's funny as shit though, ain't it?
I think the person in the video as well is Father John, who got caught on live being quite racist. But I obviously can't play those clips, and I'm not going to play those clips. But I think I heard a couple of stuff in there as well.
Yeah, I think so. But even I mean, I feel so bad for this guy. Like, I feel for this guy. But even as much as the Father of God saying, like, it was a new day, he walked right back in. Like, what if he was so tired that he legitimately thought he had spent the whole day awake?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And so he legitimately went back in thinking it was nighttime, and he just spent 16 plus hours awake.
Because that's the thing, when you are so... Now, I have never been sleep deprived for days because somebody has forced me, but I've certainly been sleep deprived where I maybe didn't sleep for, like, properly, or only got like an hour or two. And even the fact that he said there, oh, you got your hour and we woke you back up. I know me, if I am exhausted, my body is exhausted, and I get 1 hour of sleep, you're not sane. You're living on this like a different reality you're almost in, do you know what I mean? Where nothing feels real, like everything's going past you in really slow motion, like your brain is just not functioning. And these are in that state 24/7 almost, on top of taking drugs.
Yeah. And you would probably believe anything in that moment.
100%. 100%, like.
Because nothing feels real already, so anything is possible.
And then even the threats of, "Who, I can't wait till Mama finds out, can't wait till Mama finds out," it's like instilling that fear. And if she has easily screamed the way she has on live streams, could you imagine what she's like behind closed doors? A million times worse.
I don't want to. Yeah.
Aye. It's scary to think, like. And even this, but it seems like they pick on the same member, because I'm pretty sure in this video now, it's the same.
I think so too. So I wonder if he's lowest on the totem pole kind of thing, and that's how it works.
Maybe.
And that's the other thing, we don't 100% know the power structure. We just know what they're showing us.
This is true.
What you're capable of doing. Not to only us, but the rest of the team. You're right. What I meant was I wasn't trying to. But it happened unconsciously. But why are you unconscious?
You don't know. That's not your contract. Your contract is to be conscious. So having the unconscious is sane.
And isn't that a weird statement?
Your contract.
Your contract is to be conscious. So, like, if they ever, like, because I'm guessing he's done something to slip up and break their rules. I wonder, is this after the whole sleep thing, actually? Because it's the same dude, and he's all like...
The other thing I wonder is maybe they have blackmail on him. And that's the contract. Right? That's the, we're not going to send you to the cops or whatever.
And like Pat said, I'm getting exhausted just watching these clips. Imagine being part of this. Insane.
I'm failing my contract, Mother. Let's get it straight here.
Say it. I'm failing my contract when I'm unconscious.
Don't. Why are you looking to the left?
That's his go-to.
Yeah.
Is to look away from both mother and father.
You have to look. What have you done?
I've been out of integrity and failing my contract.
Why? Tell us.
Because the ego program mind hates God. And you are a cockroach. The ego program mind.
The ego program mind.
Why? I mean, how dense can you be? I just basically said repeat this, and you went to something else. And you're a whore. You know better. Even as being insulted, you have a better insult for yourself than God does. Do you notice it? Okay? So everything that you did is you interrupted and blocked Mom's video so we can read part of what we were saying. Simple commands were given before bed. We'll add, so the whole team knows, he fucked off the tea, never brought Mom tea, took her sandwich away, left it out on the cupboard, and then then stayed up for hours to suck from us. So that what?
Things could be in right action.
So that it would appear to Mom that I had been sucking on her all night. That too. Okay. Thank you.
Sucking on us?
I want to know what that is.
I'm wondering if it is sexual in nature.
I wonder.
And so it appeared as if I had been sucking on her all night?
But, like, the fact that he's literally called... Right, so in this cult, being called a whore is the worst thing possible. Because that's what she calls anybody who doesn't believe in it and blah, blah, blah. So he's being called a whore for not bringing her tea. He's being belittled for not bringing her tea, for taking her sandwich, for leaving a sandwich on a counter. What?
I wonder if he was so sleep deprived that he, like...
Didn't know
Not
what he was
even
doing.
daydreamed, but that, like, he dreamed that he brought it to her, and that's why it was left on a counter. To go cold.
100%. Because look, he's just standing there going, like... he doesn't know what to do. He's not... It's like his emotions kind of cut off even at this point.
Well, and even the calling him a whore, I wonder if if it's used as partially the... Sorry, words, my dog's barking. I'm wondering if calling him a whore and having whore be the worst rank is the lowest on the totem pole because they have to sexually service Mother of God and Father of God.
I think so, you know. But this is the thing, right? Because usually when cults are very sexualized like this, they're very sexual cults and multiple partners and XYZ, you always hear so much about it. But then again, it's always because it's a male leader and it's female, so there's this outrage. Whereas it seems with her, there's this double standard. Because we've not heard anyone talk about, like, if she used and abused them in that sense, but then you never heard any outrage about her going with a teen when she was in her late 30s. So I wonder...
Well, and I wonder if Kebab is on the nose with sounds gay when I said butt drugs. Like, if he's already sexually servicing Mom, right? If Dad is also taking advantage.
Aye.
That's
insane, like...
Yeah.
Was this the one where... So again, this is the same dude, and they're threatening to cripple him.
Wow, of course, never you. Why would you ever be afraid of me?
I don't know, Pops.
I don't know either. Trust me, I have no idea. I have no idea. Because what we settled was settled. And that was for the 24 days that you put Mother through. If I thought or felt for another day that you did that to her, consciously, you would already be gone. But you're not that. You're fucking awesome. You've been played just like I was played. Now you have to fucking call him out. Michael L. Dark brought it in.
Okay.
We're gonna push you away from that. Oh, because L fucked Mom, remember? Remember L stuck his dick in? And when I came back, he came down. You know, I fucked Mom.
I don't know if you heard that. I'm gonna pull it back a sec because I turned up the volume. You were literally spot on. Right.
Because L fucked Mom, remember? Remember L stuck his dick in? And when I came back, he came down. You know, I fucked Mom last night. He fucked you. Mom doesn't even remember it. Because as soon as I got there, why did Al pick me up? Why did I catch Al on the ride? Al's like, here, you want to hit this? You hit all you want. You start to get to the end of this, he starts giving me this shit. I'm like, okay, bitch. You know I do who I am, Valerian. But I know you ain't gonna fuck me. You ain't gonna tell me to use something and try to turn the energy on me as I'm going to God. You ain't gonna do that. And then as I get in the house, what you do? You sucked from me the whole fucking 13 ride. He sucked from me and all my essence. And then he got in front of Mom and fucked her. He posed as being Father God and fucked her.
So this suck from is a sexual thing.
I guarantee it, yeah.
Because like that's what he said. He was like, "Oh, remember he stuck his dick in you, and oh, then yeah, I fucked you, and then she doesn't remember being fucked, and then you sucked from me."
And this man looks like he's gonna cry the whole time.
Look
The
at it. Look
whole
at his
time.
eyes there. All
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I can't imagine a cult like this being this abusive, going on without taking advantage of the lowest rank like this, and it's always the same person. It's always this dude in these videos, and they're the ones that have all been linked by ex-members.
Well, and the thing with like this cult mentality, you have to have the lowest member so everyone feels like they're above this person. They're more loved than this person. So this person gets the shit end of the stick, but I get food. Mom talks to me nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is this guy still part of the cult? I just don't get how people stay. But so I don't know if this guy is still part of it, but I think it's going to be similar to like why people stay in abusive relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
It's the same thing.
Aye.
A lot of people say that they were so tired they couldn't even think about running away from a cult, or they were so brainwashed that they couldn't think of anybody treating them better.
And this is legit because the woman who spoke out on Dr. Phil that had joined the cult towards the end had literally left in the middle of the night, left all of her stuff, and Dr. Phil turns to her and goes, "But why? Why'd you leave all your stuff? Why didn't you say it to them?" And she goes, "It was at the moment that I realised that they were using sleep deprivation and manipulation tactics, and I knew if I'd said it to them, it would have happened to me and I would end up staying." So that's like insane.
Sorry.
I don't exercise, but I've run out there.
Bit of a bad joke. Kebab. She was at the McDonald's.
Aye, she literally was a McDonald's manager.
Yeah, I wouldn't stop at the McDonald's. I'd keep going.
I'd keep going because she was the manager. She'd be walking out of there like.
Right.
So it's 100% abusive cult, manipulation tactics, everything like.
Yeah.
So now this is wrapping up towards the end then when this is all the stuff from when her body was found then. So there's this.
Taco Bell safer, you're right.
I'd catch my breath when there's Taco Bell. Refreshing to watch this. So this was towards the end then. So this is when her body was found and this is what Dr. Phil covered on it, right? Now there's also an interview from the people who were released, which we're going to play after because, again, they're celebrating it. They're celebrating her dying and the incarnation of it. So this was Dr. Phil's one of it anyway.
The leader of a cult was found dead and mummified in a sleeping bag.
Amy Leah Carlson was the leader of a cult called Love Has Won. Carlson proclaimed to have been reincarnated countless times.
It was at this home the mummified body was found.
Carlson's body was tied with Christmas lights. Her eyes were missing and glitter makeup was painted on her face.
The sheriff's office searched the home and they found a 2-year-old boy, a 13-year-old girl, and the dead body. Authorities say they were tipped off by the 2-year-old boy's father, who said the group was keeping his son hostage.
A neighbor says they had been complaining about the cult's presence.
We've been trying to get this place shut down as a public nuisance, and we're ignored. These are some very scary people.
Carlson set up the cult in 2018 after leaving her third marriage and a job at McDonald's.
When I joined the team, she told me I was going to be, the father god to her mother god.
Investigator Rick Sounder talked face-to-face with 2 members who have now been released from jail.
Ryan Kramer and Karen Raymond left free on personal recognizance bonds.
God is a woman.
And that's Amy?
That's correct. God is a woman and this whole planet will know.
She'd been ill.
That was him. So to answer Kebab's question from earlier, Ryan is still in the cult. That lowest member was still in the cult. So he was arrested as part of them with her body. That's insane that you could be treated so crap and your abuser's now dead and you're still.
And you gotta wonder if he maybe is no longer the lowest member, and that's why he stayed. Because he looks healthier now. Not happier, but healthier. So I'm wondering if somebody else joined up and they're the bottom of the totem pole now.
For some time. In YouTube videos, Kramer earlier talked about Carlson's illness.
Why can't she heal herself? She's God. Well, that's a great question.
How did she die?
I actually do not have an answer to that. Sincerely, I don't know.
Is she going to be reincarnated?
You tell me.
God is a woman.
At this point, it is not clear that love has won.
We launched our season with a two-part investigation of Mother God's organization and have the last known interview with the controversial leader.
Hi. Love you, Dr. Phil.
So how are things?
They're very peaceful here at the moment.
So things are often not peaceful around you because I've seen some of your streams, I've seen some of the videos where you seem to be upset a lot.
My own light workers battle me!
Yelling and screaming and calling names and all.
You whores!
What is it that upsets you the most?
Where the upset comes from me is when, as I serve love every day, and I am in love in action every moment. That is my role. I've been like that since I was born, serving love. And a lot of the anger things, I suppose, if you call them that, or is it passion? Spiritual ego whores, done! If you're not connected to me, you're out.
That seems pretty aggressive for someone that's leading the world to love.
I agree with you. It was taken in a moment where a lot of things were happening to me, and I was upset.
At the time, her family members had come to me concerned about the woman they knew as Amy Carlson. They say she had abandoned her children 15 years ago and formed Love Has Won. Amy Carlson told her followers that she could communicate with angels, was capable of curing ailments like cancer, and claimed to be in her 534th reincarnation, and that her past lives included Jesus Christ and Marilyn Monroe.
I have reincarnated many, many moments. I was Marilyn Monroe, Joan of Arc, Jesus. Humanity's gonna trip about that because they always thought Jesus was a masculine. I have full memory of all my lives. I fully remember being hanged on the cross as Jesus. We're not a cult. Absolutely not. What is a cult? A cult, is not transparent. Point blank. I'm transparent.
Some of the other accusations were that you use sleep deprivation as a way to control people.
I'm sorry.
That was the reaction that got me.
Holy crow.
Even kebab. Oh Lord, that was the reaction that got me. That I was like, she knew what she was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's terrifying.
That reaction there is of someone who is lying, is manipulative, is gaslighting people, knows what they're doing, and they're being called out on it, and it's that ha 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 ha, like a manic laughter.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, and even the fact that she was like, oh yeah, Marilyn Monroe, Joan of Arc, Jesus, her face lit up. You don't, I don't know, it's just that she's saying, oh, I remember everything about all those lives. But her face only lights up at the Jesus one, right? If you're talking about living those lives, all of those lives are incredible. So you'd think that you'd have happy memories of all of those lives if you do remember them. And for her face to only light up on Jesus, it's like, okay, come on now. That's the one you're happy about?
And why is it she's freaking, being like, oh, humanity's gonna freak out at that one? Wouldn't they not freak out at the Joan of Arc one? Wouldn't they not freak out at the Marilyn Monroe one? But again,
Right?
it's fixating on that Jesus.
if I found out that I was Marilyn Monroe in a past life and I remembered everything, like, the things she did, the people she saw, the people she met, like, that would be amazing to have even been there. Same with Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc. Could you imagine being able to remember all of Joan of Arc's life and not reacting to it?
You
Like,
fixate on the Jesus. You know what
exactly. Yeah. And the fact that she
Insane.
goes, "Oh, Jesus, I remember being nailed to the cross." No, that was a traumatic moment if you remembered that.
I
Like, of the 3 people she mentioned,
Mhm.
the one that I don't think your face would light up on if you remembered everything would be Jesus. Like, lots of terrible things happened to him.
Yeah. Hi, Ghost Gerard.
Hello,
the dead-
Gerard, the
Gerard,
ghost.
What's happening? R.I.P. Oh my god, can we all talk about how funny that clip is? And Jordan's one,
Right?
and it's like, R.I.P. Gerard. Oh wait, don't know why I'm saying that. And it's like, Jordan's not dead, and then you see Gerard's. Oh, too funny. I bet
No
she was
kebab.
checked.
Gerard is Amy reincarnated.
100% Amy reincarnated.
Yeah.
It's confirmed. You heard
Yep.
it here
She's
first.
not Gerard. Yeah, she's not Gerard. Gerard is her. Yeah.
Yeah, Gerard is Amy reincarnated. Confirmed.
Yep.
It happened after. So this here is her eldest son speaking out about it now. And an ex-member speak out in court. Oh, short interview, not court
Mother
interview.
Gerard.
Western Colorado town, a group with an 3 hours from Denver. In a small western Colorado town, a group with an international following consumed the life of a young boy's mother.
Well, I am Amy's oldest child. My mom is a cult leader, or was a cult leader.
Cole Carlson says 15 years ago, his mother, Amy, also called Leah Carlson, left him when he was 10 to become the leader of Love Has Won. Former members tell us she was considered and called God.
She was the earth incarnate. She is mother god of all creation.
Some of the details that have slowly continued to come out have been rather shocking to me, honestly. But they're also like, they're a cult. You kind of expect weird things to come out.
As her next of kin, Carlson's waiting for autopsy results to confirm this reported mummified person is indeed his mom.
Mummified and eye makeup, but no eyes. Just, yeah, very disturbing. The whole thing is just so disturbing.
A shared reaction with one of the leader's former lovers, Andrew Profaci.
It makes me angry and very sad that she's passed, but really creeps me out.
Profaci says he joined the group's chat room online and lived with them for 10 months in 2015.
Amy, or Mother God, told me I was going to be the vessel for this Father God consciousness to come into, the planet.
Both find trouble in what's transpired over the past few years.
It makes me mad. And I really don't want to see this work continued, especially not with her name attached.
Here are AARP's top tips on...
So that was the son, and then that was the... But look how young he looks even there. And she was 45 at the time of her death. And he, the ex-lover, looks still very, very young. Do you know what I mean?
Almost as if he hasn't been drinking 7 to 8 cans of Coke of vodka a night.
Insanity. But
yeah,
definitely, it's a strange case. Like, but I think it's just so weird the fact that what we've seen in cults in the past, like Jonestown Massacre, all of those cults, and this has just happened. You know what I mean? And it's people don't learn. People do not learn.
Well, and even imagine finding out that your estranged mother left you to run a cult.
You'd be fuming.
You would be traumatized.
Very true.
How do you even come to terms with that? You can't even confront her and be like, "Hey, what happened?"
You're gonna get no closure, and I think that's probably what would destroy them the most. I know a lot of people, you're not gonna heal properly when you don't have closure.
Yeah. Well, and based on the way he's talking about his mom, it's almost like he has grieved her loss already. To me, it feels like he's probably already been like, "Okay, my mom's dead to me," you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of the mentality he seems to be coming to it with, which is great for him. I'm very proud of him for getting to that point because otherwise he'd be destroyed. Like,
That's
yeah.
just. But I think you're right. But even the fact in the not the second last clip or the third last clip that I showed, the two members that were arrested for, and they were getting done for tampering with a corpse, child neglect, all of that jazz. They turned around and was like, "Oh, we don't know how she died." And they were weird about it, and then quickly someone jumps in and goes, "Ha ha ha! God is a woman."
Yeah. That's the thing.
Oh no, I was just reading what kebab right here. So like my ex
Yeah.
neighbor who I grew up with, and who was like a second mom, has now turned lunatic, is on drugs, believes she's a witch and she can heal and read minds. Even that is so bizarre. She's cut out of my entire family, or she's cut off from her entire family. And even like, you know, it's strange. Like it really is. Like it's because I feel like when somebody goes from one personality and one way of being to a completely different version of themselves with nothing in between happening to link it up, it's just you sit there going like, but how does this make sense? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you resonate with that, or not resonate, like that just sits. It's a very strange one, but I think there's a little more to it. Conspiracy theory time. I do think Aurora has something to do with it.
Absolutely. I'm gonna stand firm on my she was smothered or strangled and Aurora's taken over the cult.
Because as well, Aurora pushed this COVID-19 cure. Why was Amy the only one to get that blue-greyish skin? Because Amy was the only one consuming this collodion silver, wasn't it? But if that was the cure for COVID,
Colloidal silver.
why is nobody else in the cult taking it? So they solved it. But again, the police aren't looking into it because for them it's, oh, case closed, she had cancer or she passed away for ingesting this. Happy days, it's over. Cult, we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yep. Well, and the thing that I saw was that Amy was taking it every time she had a COVID symptom. So every time she had a runny nose, a sniffle, a sore throat from drinking for all hours, felt dizzy, had a headache from a hangover, right? Like any number of things that are those symptoms that she could get from drinking or drug use. She was taking it. And so I wonder if maybe Aurora got in her ear and said, well, you have to be the face of this. People have to believe it. And they'll believe you. And they basically convinced her to start taking it in these huge amounts.
Hey, we Scott's lad. I hope you enjoyed work. Yeah. But like they were pushing it on to everybody else because the FDA made a statement and was like, do not do this. Like your skin's gonna go bluey grey, your organs are gonna shut down. And like she was paralyzed at this stage, obviously a mixture of this and the heavy drink abuse or alcohol abuse. But why is it why is it a case it's only her? You know what I mean? Like, I genuinely think Aurora had something to do with it because as well in every interview, everyone else, like you said earlier, had that like very like naive look to them. Whereas Aurora sat there very confident and her eyes gave it away that she knew what she was at.
I wonder if she maybe mixed the colloidal silver in with the vodka. Because colloidal silver is a clear liquid.
Yeah.
It looks like water, which means it looks like vodka.
Yeah.
So I wonder if she mixed it in with the vodka. If she was in control of giving her that vodka, she could easily mix it in.
So let me look it up here. So it is a clear liquid.
Yeah.
Dangerous for your health.
It doesn't have a strong taste either. Back in the early 2000s, it was like a very popular thing to put it on. Well,
because it was
in a group, small group.
pushed as a dietary supplement, but it's saying, see,
Yeah.
the change to the color and skin, that's permanent.
Mhm.
Not one other
Mhm.
member has that. So, if this genuinely was I genuinely think Aurora was maybe putting it in the drink, and maybe they
Mhm.
pushed this is the cure for COVID because that was their cover up for her dying then.
Mhm.
It can cause a build up to the body's tissue, so that's why she looks aged as hell.
Yep.
Especially exposed to the sun, people have developed ageria from using this.
I wonder if they told her she was drinking alcohol at one point, and the placebo effect took over. She felt freer, but she was just drinking colloidal silver.
Oh shit.
I wonder if she was in more control than she thought. And that's why the drinking increased, because she wasn't getting the effects of the alcohol. So she upped thinking she had a tolerance issue, when in reality, she wasn't getting as much alcohol as she thought.
Because
Oh.
the coroner exam done on her
Mhm.
showed that there was a heavy, heavy, heavy amount in her system.
Mhm.
And the fact that if she was drinking that much, she lost use of her legs.
Yep.
Oh my god, Katie.
We're solving it right here, live on Twitch.
Oh, how the tables have turned. I just got up to peep, going back to bed, gonna have a cheeky. Oh, Leafall, thank you. I think we're gonna raid soon. Anybody with whoever's on live.
Mhm.
What a twist, chat. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? I think that makes so much sense, because in those
Mhm.
clips, the more you look at it, and the more you watch Aurora's behavior compared to Amy's behavior, Aurora knows what she's doing, and then everybody else in
Mhm.
between.
Yep.
And the fact that she is still so front and center on all of the YouTube and all the social media.
Absolutely. She was probably in everybody's ear, being in control behind the scenes, and not inebriated.
If she was drinking it in high doses, would she have not had a metallic taste? She probably did and do it on purpose. So this is the thing. I think maybe it was
I'm thinking.
slightly disguised with vodka. Because you'd have
Yeah,
to
I'm
have that
thinking that there was
smell.
probably some. Yeah. The smell and the taste. And even a little bit of vodka numbs your taste buds.
Yeah,
So
100%.
I think just the vodka itself would numb you up.
Because if you think about it, all they'd have to do is give her one proper glass of vodka in the day of what she was used to, that high amount, and then she's not going to know what she's consuming after that.
Yeah. But once you get her drunk first, and then you just keep on with the colloidal silver. Even if it was a 50-50 mix, it would still be huge amounts that would,
because it's huge chunks of vodka, so
numb
the
that
vodka's
taste.
been 100%. Her taste buds were probably fucked to start. That this is true. Do you know what I mean? Years of
Also,
drinking insane amounts.
And they were saying that she was smoking too, which means people who smoke, it numbs your taste buds aren't as sensitive as people who don't smoke. A lot of people when they quit smoking, they report that things taste better because their taste buds aren't as numbed to things. So that could be another thing.
And if you think of it, she was taking mushrooms, she was smoking weed, doing bongs. So if you're already inebriated, you don't really know what else you're consuming. You just take it as gospel, you know what I mean? When someone tells you something.
Yeah. Especially if they're your followers and you believe that they've been brainwashed to do whatever you ask them to.
Insanity. Oh my god. Right. I think we will probably wrap it up with Katie. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.